I think it's a difficult day and a rejoicing day for me. Because when you can live to be 75 and you see family that are young, that are dying, it's very hard. I relate today more with the parents who lost their children, because we have a special niece who is walking through the valley, the shadow, and I just have to share that the Lord said very clearly to me, remind them that the shadow was me, and that every leaf that He put into that perfect harmony, there was a 10-minute window of time, that if you were born, you're on the planet, you're part of the landform reveille. And God stilled the water, and He only took a 10-minute snapshot to encourage the world as we're living in the pandemic, and as all of us are going to walk one day through the valley of the shadow. And the only thing I need to leave with everybody is the channel we're born through. We're born a star. When we die, we go through the channel to death. And with that, things are not coincidences. There's nothing a coincidence. Everything that's happened in this story, God has brought us to this point in life. So before I blow out 70 candles, I could be standing here to say hope. If we lose hope, we all die. So when you look at everlasting hope, you no longer see physically. And when I was in my last days, pancreatic cancer, I was so afraid. And I went into a rock pile and I checked rocks. And I didn't know God anymore. I thought He left. I didn't even believe in Him anymore because I didn't feel any joy. And I was in my last days, and He took me and showed me above this incredible valley, and He spoke to me. That's when He shifted my heart, and I didn't die. For why? To be standing here today as an old lady that is not them, and neither are all of us.
Amen.
None of us. It's not a coincidence that my birthday is today, and Larry Chandler, when he came to us at the lighthouse, that he became a broken man. And later we would find out that his mama's birthday is today too.
Wow.
And God worked mysterious things that when people are broken, all He says is to love and just quit talking about it. Just love people, regardless. And my son, Brian, you were walking on that water after riding a motorcycle across the mountain. I thought for sure he was going to die driving that motorcycle from Spokane to Bellingham. And I used to pray, Lord, save him. And now here we are. I'm old. He's here. The motorcycle's in the barn, and he's raising a beautiful family. My beautiful daughter is not only here, but she's never left. And her life, like Brian's, are walking, living testimonies. That's the mama that we just need to let our kids grow up as we just keep on loving them.
Amen.
And I'm so grateful for all of you that are here. I know we're small, but I do know one thing. God heard my voice and brought Debbie to tell the story. And He brought you, Stan, to record it. And you, Gracie, to bring grace to my life. As we both turn about, her birthday's tomorrow.
Aww.
So she turned 74, and I turned 75. That's pretty heavy years there. We're as old as these trees, but we're still seeing. And Maureen, of course, part of the Lord's Army, has been here through Kathy Baker. Didn't know Kathy. But all that to be said, as we look at the rainbow, and Debbie, with all your pain, you knew that somebody had to love you to come on board. That's my prayer for the body of Christ, that we would be outside and people would catch the vision, that we don't go to church, that everywhere we go, if we don't have love, our kids, nobody is going to have hope. And I just want to lastly, I want to thank all of you guys over here that came today to prepare this amazing campground. Seriously, Camp Firwood and the Firs, Mark Watson is still alive. But when that picture was discovered what this was, when I ran down on the shore, you can imagine. I took the picture and then I returned for the fire. And Brian called and said, Mom, there was a fire. So not knowing what was in the picture, driving across the state, sad for the parents, broken, dropped Hubby off at Sudden Valley and stood there where we took the picture. And as I did, I started to sing, as the deer panteth for the water. And I called it the 23rd Psalm. And seriously, there was a deer standing next to me. It was like 11 o'clock. And I go, whoa. And then I looked from a distance and said, what is that land? I didn't know it was an island. And so I drive down the road, and you can see the Firwood sign is small. And if you drive by, you just say, oh, that's somebody's house. Because you don't see a big sign that says Christian Kids Camp. So as I drove down this thing, I came into the opening, and there were all these kids playing. And I parked my car, and I was like a crazy woman. I said, what is this? And they said, it's a kids camp. And I said, oh, they said, it's a Christian kids camp. And I came running down this path, and I stood on that point, and the director's name was Bubba. And that's the same name as the character in the book that Larry wrote that's called The Land Where Wisdom Speaks. And he came up and he says, I'm Bubba. And I freaked out. I go, oh my gosh, Bubba. And then I showed him the picture, and we both knelt out there on that point. And he said, it's the face of God for our city. Because we are experiencing death like no other death. The whole city had blown. The Sudden Valley Strip, you know. And then ironically, Wade King, who dropped the match into the water, the flame, his daddy went to Rogers with us, from Rogers in Spokane. And after this was discovered, he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going back to Sudden Valley. And from that moment forward, the newspaper came for one reason, not to deliver a bunch of garbage, but to deliver this picture that they put on the whole half of the Bellingham Herald that called it Hope. And through that, Wade was a camper at this camp. And his mom said, I'm so tired of him going around the neighborhood telling about Jesus. And then when he died, she goes, Jan, what was wrong with me? You know, she was suicidal. She didn't want to live. She saw her son come out of the water. Their house was right there. He lived one day. And through that death, this camp opened up free scholarships for everybody in the city. And all those kids went to this camp. That was 25 years ago. And so some of them, you know, not even knowing what this gathering was today, they don't understand the connection. The story's too big to tell. But they say very clearly that their lives at that time were so broken that it was through this they heard the message that Wade King did, that there is hope everlasting after death. So that's the tail end, and thank you for listening. And I'm so excited because I can't believe it. I have to tell you, you don't even know. We dreamt of a fire. We dreamt of this opening. We didn't think it ever would. I dreamt of my daughter coming, and she wasn't going to be able to be here. And then my son, because we have a sick little niece that's dying, he goes in the car, and so when they stepped out of their car today, I had them both here. So, happy birthday.